Artspeak Resort Munyonyo, President Museveni launched the NRM's 2026-2031 Manifesto with a message of preservation and progress. The key slogan, protecting the gains, as we make a qualitative leap into high middle income status.
In this Kisanja, this coming term, there are a number of mass issues that affect the masses, which you, the leaders, must deal with.
The NRM acknowledges concerns over corruption, impunity, and youth unemployment. It promises to build on infrastructure, scale up social services, and deepen interventions at parish level, among others. Some specific commitments in recent statements include ensuring that every sub-county, town council, and municipal division has a health center 3 with a maternity ward and a laboratory, scaling up primary health care, strengthening emergency referral systems, constructing specialized centers for cancer and cardiovascular care. On the other hand, what NUP offers? Transformation and reset. As before, NUP proposes sweeping reforms, restoring constitutional checks, ending trials of civilians in military courts, guaranteeing media freedoms, devolution, land rights, etc. Economically, NUP aims for 10 million new jobs by 2032 via industrial parks, value chain development, tourism, tech. In health, education, and infrastructure, both emphasize expanding health services, including health center 3s, emergency services, roads, and water. NRM is public about upgrading health infrastructure and maternal care, while NUP also invests in public goods. Both see job creation as essential. NRM links this to infrastructure and expanding current programs. On jobs and growth, both see job creation as essential. NRM links this to infrastructure and expanding current programs such as parish development, while NUP's plan is more ambitious with specific numeric targets, including industrial parks. Moving on to corruption, accountability, justice. NRM acknowledges corruption and promises to fight it, improving oversight, while NUP makes this a central pillar, stronger institutional checks and constitutional reform. We take a look at the strengths of NRM's new manifesto, which include credibility and continuity, whereby NRM can point to existing infrastructure, health improvements, and a track record that many Ugandans are familiar with that lends legitimacy to promises to scale up and optimize. Even as we see the strengths of the manifesto, we also have the weaknesses and risks for NRM, including lack of detailed numeric targets in some areas, including job creation, youth unemployment, among others, are spoken of, but the published summary does not yet show exact numbers commensurate with NUP's stated goals. Another is a risk of perception of status quo. Promising to protect gains might sound safe, but for many facing daily hardship, safe may feel like insufficient. If change is slow, critics will argue that promises are rhetoric without transformative impact. Some commitments still lag. Corruption reduction, justice and equity, political integration are among the weaker performing areas. Key programs like the parish development model, infrastructure expansion, health center functionalization are operational and visible. That gives NRM a base of credibility if they promise to scale. For many Ugandans, 2026 question is not just who promises more, but who delivers better. NRM's manifesto gives the promise of stability, of preserving what has been built, scaling what works, and helping Uganda leap qualitatively into higher income status. NUP's vision is more disruptive, potentially transformative, but subject to risks of implementation, resistance, and scale. Ultimately, the election will be decided by whether Ugandans believe that safeguarding the gains is enough, or whether they want a reset. Will the incremental promises of NRM feel urgent enough to address unemployment, corruption, land issues? Or will NUP's call for change capture the aspiration for more than just improvement but transformation? The voters hold the pen. Uganda's future will be written not just in manifestos, but in trust and in action. We equally look at the strengths of the NUP manifesto. The first one being the focus on anti-corruption and government accountability, standing as a central promise to tackle pervasive corruption by promoting public oversight of expenditures and holding officials personally liable for wasteful spending with plans to recover stolen public funds and review illicit tax waivers. The emphasis on human rights and rule of law have been put as the manifesto pledges to restore presidential term limits, ensure an independent judiciary, and strengthen state institutions, also promising to address injustice and increase access to justice for all citizens. While the manifesto promises job creation and a strengthened economy, some observers argue it lacks specific details on how to fundamentally grow the economy beyond stopping leakages. Risk of internal divisions is also a weakness, relies on a protest vote, where opponents accuse the NUP of building its support on a protest vote driven by anger against the incumbent government, rather than a solid vision for the future. Now the question remains whether the core promises outlined in the manifestos will truly be fulfilled. It is worth asking whether these plans are realistic enough to usher in a new Uganda, one that delivers meaningful change and tackles the deep-rooted vices that have plagued the nation for decades. Ultimately, one can only hope that these pledges will translate into tangible progress and not fade into political rhetoric.